The Most Feared Man in Busan. Season 1, Episode 5. When Busan felt like home. Busan woke beneath a pale blue sky. For once, there was no rain. No photographer hiding behind a parked car. No unexpected visitor waiting in an abandoned office. No voice from Seo-jin's past reaching through a telephone. Just sunlight. And for Trisha Campbell, that felt almost suspicious. She stood at her apartment window with a mug between both hands, looking down at the neighborhood coming alive beneath her. A delivery scooter passed. Someone dragged open the metal shutter of a small restaurant. Two elderly women were already arguing cheerfully outside a vegetable shop. Trisha smiled. Busan had stopped feeling completely foreign sometime during the past few weeks. She still noticed the differences. The language flowing around her. The smell of unfamiliar breakfasts drifting from restaurants before 8 in the morning. Mountains rising behind apartment buildings as if the city had simply grown around them. But she no longer woke every morning thinking, I am in Korea. Sometimes she simply woke up thinking, I need coffee. Her phone buzzed. She glanced down. Jun, are you awake? Trisha stared at the message, then at the clock. 8:07 a.m. She typed. Trisha, unfortunately. 3 dots appeared immediately. Jun, I would like to take you somewhere. Trisha raised an eyebrow. Trisha, that sounds suspiciously vague. Jun, I am attempting spontaneity. She laughed. Trisha, you scheduled spontaneity, didn't you? There was a pause. Jun, possibly. Trisha shook her head. Trisha, what time? Jun, 10. Trisha, see? Scheduled. His answer came almost immediately. Jun, Trisha. Trisha, Jun. Another pause. Then, Jun, please be ready at 10. She smiled into her coffee. Trisha, yes, Chairman Seo-jin. His reply. Jun, I am reconsidering this invitation. At precisely 10 o'clock, Jun was waiting outside. Not in the black sedan Trisha usually associated with him. Not with 3 security vehicles. Not even wearing a suit. Trisha stopped walking. Jun looked down at himself. Dark jeans. White shirt. Lightweight black jacket. Casual shoes. He glanced back up. What? Trisha stared. I'm just trying to figure out who you are. Jun sighed. I own jeans. I had no evidence. I have several pairs. Several. Yes. She walked around him slowly as though examining an artifact in a museum. Jun's eyes narrowed. Are you finished? No. Trisha. You even have sneakers. They're shoes. They're sneakers. They're extremely expensive shoes. That somehow makes this worse. Jun opened the passenger door. Trisha stopped again. You're driving. Yes. Yourself? I know how. I assumed Mr. Park came with the car. Jun gave her a long look. She climbed inside laughing. For the first time in days, Jun laughed too. Not the quiet breath of amusement she usually had to watch carefully to notice. An actual laugh. Trisha turned toward him. There it is. What? You laugh. Jun started the car. I have always laughed. No, you usually release one polite breath through your nose. That counts. It absolutely does not. He pulled away from the curb. Trisha looked at him from the passenger seat. Something about seeing Jun drive himself, sunlight crossing his face, one hand resting loosely on the steering wheel, made him seem younger. Not younger in years. Lighter. The man beside her wasn't the chairman appearing on financial broadcasts. He wasn't the man reporters called ruthless. He wasn't the man whose enemies photographed people he cared about. He was simply Jun. And she liked him. That realization had stopped frightening her. Mostly. He drove toward the coast. The city opened around them. Bridges. Hills. Apartment towers. Patches of brilliant blue water appearing between buildings. Trisha lowered the window slightly. Where are we going? You ask many questions. You answer very few. That arrangement has worked well so far. For you. Jun smiled. Eventually, they left the busiest streets behind. They stopped near a quieter stretch of coastline where old houses and small cafes sat above the sea. Trisha stepped from the car. The breeze caught her curls immediately. She pushed them away from her face. This is beautiful. Jun looked toward the water. My mother used to bring me here. The playfulness in Trisha's expression softened. You don't talk about her much. No. Jun started walking. Trisha fell into step beside him. She died when I was 23. I'm sorry. It was a long time ago. That doesn't mean you stopped missing her. Jun glanced at her. Trisha wasn't looking at him. She was watching the sea. That was one thing he had begun to understand about her. She could say something deeply personal without forcing him to react to it. She left space around difficult things. My father became even more focused on the company afterward, Jun said. I think work was easier for him than grief. And you? I became more like my father. Trisha looked over. That sounds like something you regret. Jun considered it. Sometimes. They walked a little farther. What was she like? Jun smiled faintly. Loud. Trisha stopped. Your mother. Yes. Jun's Seo-jin had a loud mother? Very. I need details immediately. He continued walking. She laughed at inappropriate times. Sang terribly. Bought things she did not need. Trisha hurried after him. I love her already. She once purchased a ceramic rooster almost a meter tall. Trisha gasped. See? A woman of taste. It stood beside our staircase for 15 years. Where is it now? Jun looked at her. In storage. Trisha stopped walking. No. What? You put your mother's giant ceramic rooster in storage? My father did. Jun. What would you like me to do with it? Free him. Jun stared at her. Free him. Bring him home. To my penthouse? Yes. My penthouse is very minimalist. That rooster has suffered enough. Jun shook his head. But his smile stayed. They found a small restaurant overlooking the water. Jun had apparently been coming there since childhood. The owner recognized him immediately. Not as Chairman Seo-jin. As Jun. An older woman emerged from the kitchen and slapped his arm. Trisha nearly choked, trying not to laugh. Jun looked genuinely offended. The woman began speaking rapid Korean. Jun answered. She slapped his arm again. Trisha leaned closer. What did you do? She says I don't visit. She's right. You don't know how often I visit. I know enough. The woman finally noticed Trisha. Her entire expression changed. She looked from Trisha to Jun. Back to Trisha. Then she smiled. Slowly. Dangerously. Trisha recognized that smile. It was universal. Grandmothers everywhere had apparently attended the same training program. The woman asked Jun something. Jun's face changed. Trisha leaned closer. What did she say? Nothing. Jun. Nothing important. The woman repeated herself. Then pointed between them. Trisha's eyes widened. Oh. Jun looked toward the sea as though hoping it might swallow him. Trisha grinned. She asked if I'm your girlfriend, didn't she? No. The older woman said something else. Jun closed his eyes. Trisha laughed. What now? She says I'm lying. Trisha leaned toward the woman and placed a hand dramatically over her heart. I like you. The woman understood absolutely none of the English. She understood everything else. Lunch stretched longer than expected. There was grilled fish, rice, soup. Several small dishes Trisha had learned not to underestimate because they somehow refilled themselves indefinitely. Jun watched her attempt one particularly spicy side dish. She froze. He noticed. Too spicy. Trisha slowly looked at him. Excuse me. You appear distressed. I am Jamaican. That was not my question. I refuse to be defeated by cabbage. Jun laughed. There it is again, Trisha said. What? That laugh. Jun lowered his chopsticks. You are strangely invested in this. You should do it more often. The words came out more softly than she intended. Something passed between them. Jun's smile faded, but not because he was unhappy. His eyes stayed on hers. I've been doing many things more often since meeting you. Trisha felt warmth crawl up her neck. She reached for her water. Don't start. I didn't start anything. You absolutely did. Jun looked innocent. It was terrible acting. After lunch, they wandered through a nearby market. Trisha stopped at nearly everything. Handmade ceramics, fruit, fabric, tiny cakes shaped like fish. Jun followed. At one stall, Trisha held up a hat. No. I haven't even said anything. No. You would look good. No. Try it. Trisha. 10 seconds later, Jun Seo-jin, chairman of Haesung Group and allegedly one of the most intimidating businessmen in South Korea, stood in the middle of a seaside market wearing a ridiculous knitted hat with 2 small barriers. Trisha stared. Then doubled over laughing. Jun looked at her. You have 3 seconds. She pulled out her phone. Absolutely not. Click. Delete that. Never. Trisha. This might be the most valuable thing I own. He reached for the phone. She darted backward. Jun followed. Trisha squealed and ran between 2 stalls. People turned. Someone recognized Jun. Another person lifted a phone. Jun stopped immediately. Trisha saw the familiar change. Shoulders straightening. Expression becoming controlled. Chairman Seo-jin returning. She walked back toward him. A young woman nearby whispered his name. Jun glanced toward the growing attention. We should go. Trisha studied him. Then looked at the hat still on his head. No. Jun blinked. No. We haven't finished. People are noticing. So? They may photograph us. They already have. Trisha. She reached up and straightened one of the barriers. Jun stared at her. We are not letting strangers ruin every good day we have. Something in his face softened. Trisha smiled. Besides, you haven't bought my fish cake. He sighed. You're impossible. You keep inviting me places. That may be my first mistake. Not even close. That evening, Trisha insisted on cooking. Jun stood in her kitchen holding a knife. She watched him. Why are you holding it like that? Like what? Like the onion owes you money. I am cutting it. You are interrogating it. Jun looked down. It is an onion. Relax your hand. He did. Better. They were making curry chicken. Or rather, Trisha was making curry chicken and Jun had been assigned tasks of steadily decreasing difficulty. He had started with seasoning. Trisha removed him from that position. Then vegetables. She supervised heavily. Finally, wash the rice. Jun looked offended. I can cook. Name 3 dishes. He opened his mouth. Nothing came out. Trisha folded her arms. Washington. The rice. Jun obeyed. Halfway through cooking, Trisha's phone rang. Mama. She answered on video. Her mother appeared immediately. Trisha? Hi, Mama. You eat. Trisha smiled. Yes. What you cooking? Curry chicken. Good. Then her mother's eyes shifted. There was a long pause. Who dat behind you? Trisha froze. Jun froze. Mama. Turn the phone. Mama. Trisha. Jun quietly put down the bowl. Trisha closed her eyes. Then turned the phone. Her mother's eyebrows rose. So. Jun bowed slightly. Hello. Trisha's mother studied him through the screen. Jun Seo-jin had faced government regulators, hostile board members, and reporters capable of destroying billion-dollar deals. None of those experiences prepared him for Marcia Campbell. You are Umbrella Man? Jun looked at Trisha. Trisha covered her face. Mama. What? Is true. Jun looked back at the screen. Yes. Marcia nodded. The yellow one? Yes. Another nod. Then someone shouted from the background. Is him? Trisha groaned. No. Grandpa Samuel appeared. Trisha stared at the ceiling. This family has no boundaries. Her grandfather leaned toward the camera. So this is Jun. Jun straightened slightly. Yes, sir. Samuel studied him. Jun waited. Finally, Samuel asked, You treating my granddaughter good? Jun glanced at Trisha. She suddenly wasn't laughing. Jun answered carefully. I am trying to. Grandpa Samuel nodded. Don't try too hard. Jun blinked. Samuel continued. Sometimes man gets so busy trying protect woman, him forget fi listen to her. Trisha slowly smiled. Jun looked at her. I have recently received that lesson. Good. Marcia pushed herself back into frame. Can he cook? Trisha burst out laughing. No. I can cook, Jun protested. Marcia narrowed her eyes. Trisha turned the camera toward the sink. He washing rice. Her grandfather laughed so loudly the phone speaker distorted. Jun looked betrayed. Later, after dinner, they sat on the floor beside Trisha's coffee table. The plates had been pushed aside. Music played quietly. Jun looked unusually comfortable. Tyless. Jacket abandoned over a chair. Sleeves rolled. Trisha leaned back against the couch. Did my family scare you? No. You're lying. Your mother is intimidating. I'll tell her you said that. Please don't. Trisha smiled. They fell quiet. Not awkward quiet. The kind that came when two people no longer felt obligated to fill every space. Jun looked around the apartment. I like it here. My apartment? Yes. Why? It feels lived in. She looked around. There were books stacked crookedly. A scarf thrown across one chair. A half-finished notebook near the window. A little bowl where Trisha tossed coins, hair ties, and anything else she didn't know where to put. Your place is lived in too. No. Jun smiled. My place looks like someone prepared it for a magazine photograph and forgot to tell anyone to move in. Trisha laughed. Then change it. With what? A giant ceramic rooster. Jun stared at her. She stared back. Then he laughed again. And Trisha thought, there you are. They walked to the beach after dark. The city glittered behind them. This time there was no rain. No yellow umbrella between them. Just cool air coming off the water. Trisha removed her shoes and carried them. Jun watched. You'll get sand everywhere. Yes. In the car. Yes. My car. Yes. He removed his shoes. Trisha stopped. Well, look at you. I am adapting. They walked near the water. Their hands brushed once. Neither moved away. Again. This time Jun's fingers remained against hers. Trisha looked down. Then up. Jun was already watching her. He slowly took her hand. No announcement. No question. Trisha let him. They continued walking. Two silhouettes moving along the shore. For several minutes, neither spoke. Finally, Jun said, I don't know how to do this. Trisha looked at him. Walk. He almost smiled. This. She knew what he meant. What are you trying to do? Jun looked toward the water. Not ruin something before it begins. Trisha was quiet. I spent years believing distance was responsible, he continued. That if people were kept away from certain parts of my life, they would be safer. Sua. Yes. And now me. Jun looked at her. Yes. Trisha squeezed his hand lightly. I don't need you to promise nothing bad will ever happen. I know. I don't need access to every board meeting or company secret. I know. I just need you not to decide what I can handle before asking me. Jun nodded. I am learning. Slowly. Very slowly. She smiled. They stopped walking. The waves rolled toward their feet and retreated. Jun looked at her. You are becoming important to me. Trisha's smile softened. You already told me that. I know. Still true. More than when I said it. Her heart stumbled. Jun took a small breath. I think about you when you're not there. Trisha tilted her head. That sounds inconvenient. It is. She laughed. I wonder whether you've eaten. Okay. Whether you arrived home. Jun. I see something ridiculous and wonder whether you would laugh at it. That stopped her. His voice became quieter. My life has been organized for a very long time, Trisha. And then I showed up. Yes. Sorry. I'm not. The laughter faded. They stood close now. Close enough that Trisha could see the hesitation in his eyes. It surprised her. This man could make decisions affecting thousands of employees without appearing uncertain. But here, with her, he was nervous. Trisha's mouth curved. Are you going to spend all night thinking about it? Jun's eyes dropped briefly to her lips. Probably. That sounds exhausting. She stepped closer. Jun stopped breathing. Trisha touched his jaw and kissed him. Softly. No rushing. No dramatic music except the distant city. No storm. No cameras they knew about. Just Jun's hand settling carefully at her waist as he kissed her back. When they separated, neither moved far. Trisha looked at him. You okay? Jun stared at her. No. She laughed. Good. This time, Jun kissed her. And somewhere between Jamaica and Korea. Between the life Trisha had left behind and the life Jun had built around himself. Busan began to feel a little less like the place where they had met. And a little more like the place where something was beginning. Not danger. Not obligation. Not destiny. Love. And for one beautiful night. That was enough. The kiss should have changed everything. At least, that was what Trisha expected. Instead, Jun stood beside her on the beach looking almost exactly the same. Almost. His hand was still around hers. His hair had been pushed slightly out of place by the wind. And there was an expression on his face Trisha had never seen before. Complete bewilderment. She smiled. You really are not okay. Jun looked at her. You kissed me. Yes. You did that very deliberately. Trisha laughed. And that frightened Trisha a little more than the first kiss had. Because the first kiss had been exciting. This one felt natural. Like something they had been doing for years instead of days. When he pulled away, she whispered, "You need coffee." "I need my photograph deleted." "You need to accept your fate." Jun sighed. Breakfast became another lesson in cultural compromise. Trisha made eggs. Jun made coffee. Trisha insisted on frying plantain. Jun watched her examine every piece as though there were strict international regulations governing its color. "You're judging the plantain." "Yes." "It is fruit." Trisha turned. "Don't disrespect plantain in my house." Jun lifted both hands. "My apologies." "Good." He leaned against the counter. "Your grandfather said something yesterday. That could be dangerous. He said I should learn to listen." "I think he believes I don't. He met you for about 90 seconds and figured you out. That is disturbing." Trisha smiled. "He likes you." Jun looked surprised. "You know that?" "He wouldn't tease you otherwise." "He was teasing me?" "Jun, Grandpa Samuel has already started teaching you patois. You have been accepted into the program." Jun considered that. "What program?" "Our family." The words slipped out before Trisha could catch them. Silence. Her hand stopped above the plate. Jun did not move. Trisha looked over slowly. "I didn't mean." "I know. I just meant." "I know what you meant." His voice wasn't uncomfortable. If anything, he seemed strangely moved. Trisha turned back to the stove. Jun watched her for another moment, then quietly asked, "What happens after acceptance into the program?" Relieved, Trisha smiled. "Mostly food and people asking why you haven't called." "That sounds manageable." "Wait until Christmas." Jun's expression changed. "What happens at Christmas?" "Survive episode 6 and maybe I'll tell you." He laughed. Later that afternoon, Jun received a message from Mr. Park. He looked at his phone. Trisha noticed immediately. The warmth disappeared from his face almost imperceptibly. Not enough for anyone else. Enough for her. "What?" "Nothing urgent." She waited. Jun looked at her. He had promised. No deciding for her. No silence disguised as protection. He exhaled. "Minho has begun cooperating with investigators." Trisha lowered the book in her hands. "Okay." He confirmed Director Cho wasn't working alone. She said nothing. "There are additional financial records. Do they involve me?" "Not directly." "Do they involve the scholarship program?" "Possibly." Trisha nodded. Jun waited for anxiety. Fear. Questions. Instead, she picked up her mug. "Then we'll deal with it when there's something to deal with." Jun stared. "What? You expected me to panic?" "No." "Yes, you did." "I expected more questions." "I have one." Jun waited. "Are you still taking me to dinner tomorrow?" He blinked. "Yes." "Then that's all I need today." Trisha. She put the book down. "Jun, I am not pretending it doesn't matter. I know. But I refuse to let every ugly thing happening around you become the center of whatever this is." She gestured between them. Jun's expression softened. "I don't know what to call this yet." "Neither do I. But I like it." "So do I. And if somebody stole money, forged signatures, or thinks they're clever enough to destroy Haesung, you have lawyers, auditors, police, and probably 17 people named Director something to handle it." Jun almost smiled. "Approximately. I only have one Saturday." That smile appeared fully. "Understood." She pointed toward the kitchen. Now help me. With what? I'm making banana bread. Jun frowned. Is this another Jamaican test? No. Will I be graded? Definitely. By evening, flour was on Jun's sleeve. Trisha had accused him of overmixing. Jun had accused the recipe of being imprecise. Trisha informed him that grandmothers did not require measurements. Jun said this was unacceptable. She threatened to revoke his Jamaican Family Program membership. He immediately stopped arguing. The banana bread came out slightly too dark around the edges. Jun looked disappointed. Trisha cut into it. Tasted. Chewed thoughtfully. Well. She pretended to consider. Jun stared at her. Trisha. She smiled. It's good. His shoulders relaxed. She held a piece toward him. He leaned forward and took a bite. Trisha watched. See? Jun nodded. Then noticed something on her cheek. Don't move. What? He reached toward her. His thumb brushed away a streak of flour. Neither moved afterward. Trisha looked up at him. Jun's thumb lingered against her skin. You do that a lot. What? Look at me like you're trying to memorize something. Jun's hand lowered. Maybe I am. Her heart did that annoying little thing again. Why? He didn't answer immediately. Then, because most things in my life change without asking permission. The playful atmosphere quieted. Companies change. Jun continued. People leave. Families change. Friendships disappear. You become accustomed to not expecting anything to remain. Trisha listened. And then you came into my life. She smiled faintly. That sounds unfortunate. It has been extremely disruptive. Sorry. I'm not. Jun stepped closer. But I think part of me keeps expecting to look away and discover you were temporary too. Trisha's expression changed. She reached for his hand. Jun. Yes. I can't promise you forever. He nodded. I know. And you can't promise it to me. I know. But I'm here now. His eyes stayed on hers. That's enough. Trisha squeezed his hand. Then stop trying to memorize me. Jun frowned slightly. Why? Pay attention while I'm actually standing here. He smiled. Yes, ma'am. Trisha stared. Did you just yes, ma'am me? I've heard your grandfather say it. That's not how. Jun kissed her before she could finish. She laughed against his mouth. You're cheating. I am learning. That weekend, Trisha showed Jun another side of Busan. Not his Busan. Hers. The places around the university where students ate cheaply. The convenience store where she bought snacks after studying late. The tiny cafe whose owner had started recognizing her order. A bench overlooking a crowded intersection where she sometimes sat just to watch people. Jun stood beside her carrying 2 convenience store drinks. You come here. Sometimes. Why? To think. You criticize me for thinking. I criticize you for overthinking. There is a distinction? A major one. They sat. Jun looked around. Students. Couples. Office workers. Tourists. Nobody important. Nobody powerful. Nobody waiting for him to make a decision. Trisha leaned against his shoulder. For several minutes, they simply watched Busan pass. Then a group of university students walked by. One recognized Jun. Whispered. Another looked toward Trisha. Jun felt her straighten slightly. He waited for the phones. The staring. The moment to become something else. But the students continued walking. One girl glanced back and smiled at Trisha. Trisha smiled back. That was all. Jun relaxed. Trisha noticed. You know what? What? You really do need more normal things. Define normal. This. She held up the convenience store cup. You are recommending cheap coffee? Among other things. Jun looked at the cup. It isn't very good. That's part of the experience. He drank again. No, it's simply bad. Trisha laughed. The following week, Jun did something Trisha never expected. He invited her to his home. Not for a formal dinner. Not for an event. Just because. Trisha stepped into the penthouse and immediately looked toward the staircase. The rooster stood proudly beside it. She placed one hand over her heart. My boy. Jun closed the door. Please don't encourage it. Trisha walked toward the enormous ceramic bird. You look wonderful. Jun removed his jacket. It is an inanimate object. He heard that. Good. Then Trisha noticed a small framed photograph near the rooster. A woman laughing beside the sea. Jun's mother. She looked back. You put this here? Jun nodded. Trisha walked closer. His mother had a beautiful, unrestrained smile. The sort of smile Jun was only now learning to wear. She was beautiful. Yes. You look like her around the eyes. Jun glanced at the photograph. I've been told that. Trisha smiled. Now the rooster makes sense. It does not. It absolutely does. She moved through the room. Something else had changed. A blanket over the couch. A book left open. Flowers. Not arranged like a hotel lobby. Just flowers. Evidence of someone occupying the place instead of merely owning it. Trisha turned. You changed things. A few. Because of me? Jun considered lying. Trisha raised an eyebrow. Yes. Her smile appeared slowly. I like it. I hoped you would. He walked toward her. Trisha looked around again. I liked your apartment before. You called it a mausoleum. I said minimalist. You said it looked like nobody actually lived here. That too. Jun stopped in front of her. Does it feel different? Yes. How? Mausoleum. Trisha thought. Warmer. Jun looked at her. Good. Something about the way he said it told her he wasn't talking about the apartment anymore. That night they cooked together again. Jun had practiced. Trisha noticed. His knife work was suspiciously better. She narrowed her eyes. You've been practicing. No. Jun. No. Those onions are almost even. I am naturally talented. You absolutely had somebody teach you. Jun remained silent. Trisha gasped. Your chef. No. Jun. He demonstrated something. You summoned a professional chef because I criticized your onion? I did not summon him. He works for me. Trisha had to sit down. Jun continued chopping. This is why rich people are exhausting. My onions are excellent. They really are. Jun looked pleased. You're impossible. And yet you keep coming back. She watched him. Yeah. Jun looked over. Yeah. Her expression softened. Yeah. Dinner ended on the balcony. Busan glittered below. The air was cooler now. Trisha sat beside Jun under a blanket. The yellow umbrella rested inside near the door. Jun had never returned it. Neither mentioned that. Trisha looked across the city. I think I'm going to miss this place. Jun went still. When? When I eventually finish school. The sentence hit him harder than expected. Trisha felt the change beside her. She turned. Oh no. What? You're doing it. Doing what? The thing where your face becomes a board meeting. Jun looked away. I wasn't. You were. Trisha shifted toward him. I said eventually. I heard you. I haven't even finished school. I know. June. He looked at her. She suddenly understood. The man who had just admitted he expected people to disappear had heard one ordinary sentence and immediately imagined her gone. Trisha reached over and took his hand. I don't know where I'm going to be years from now. June nodded. Neither do you. Another nod. So let's not ruin tonight trying to solve a future that hasn't happened. June squeezed her hand. That sounds suspiciously sensible. I have moments. Rarely. She hit his arm. June laughed. Then Trisha rested her head against him again. A few minutes passed. She spoke quietly. But wherever I go. June waited. This will matter. He looked down at her. Busan? She smiled. You. The city seemed to fall away. June didn't answer. He simply brought her hand to his lips and kissed her fingers. Trisha's eyes closed. And neither of them needed anything more. 2 days later, an envelope arrived at Haesung. No return address. Mr. Park carried it directly to June's office. June opened it. Inside was a single sheet of paper. No photograph. No threat. No mention of Trisha. Just a series of account numbers. And beneath them, 4 words. Ask Minho about SOH. June's expression hardened. Mr. Park waited. Should I increase security? June looked toward the window. Weeks ago, his answer would have been immediate. Yes. Double everything. Move Trisha. Control the problem. Instead, he picked up his phone. Chairman. June opened his messages. June, something arrived today. It may involve Minho and Sua. I don't know what it means yet. I wanted you to hear it from me before anyone else. He sent it. Mr. Park watched quietly. 30 seconds later. Trisha, thank you for telling me. Then. Trisha, are we still eating tonight? June smiled. June, yes. Trisha, good. Solve your mystery tomorrow. June put the phone down. Mr. Park tried not to smile. Failed. June looked at him. What? Nothing, Chairman. You're smiling. No, sir. You are. Mr. Park straightened. Would you like me to investigate the account numbers? Yes. Tomorrow. June thought about Trisha. Dinner. Her terrible convenience store coffee. The way she laughed when he misused Jamaican expressions. His mother's rooster standing proudly beside his staircase. Then he nodded. Tomorrow. Mr. Park's eyebrows rose. That may have been the most astonishing order Jun Seo-jin had given in years. That evening, Trisha opened her apartment door. June stood there holding flowers. She stared. What did you do? June frowned. Nothing. You brought flowers. Yes. Why? I wanted to. No scandal. No. No apology? No. No hidden corporate disaster? Not that I'm aware of. Trisha took the flowers. So they're just flowers? Apparently. She looked down at them. Then back at him. Her smile became enormous. I like just flowers. June stepped inside. I am beginning to understand that. Trisha placed them in water. June watched her. She turned. What? I have something else. Her eyes narrowed. If you bought me a car, I'm sending it back. It isn't a car. Jewelry. No. Apartment. Trisha. I'm checking. June reached into his coat pocket. He handed her a small object. A keychain. A tiny yellow umbrella. Trisha stared at it. For once, she had no joke. June suddenly looked uncertain. I saw it. She looked up. And? It reminded me of you. Her eyes softened. That is disgustingly sweet. Jun frowned. That was not the intended reaction. She laughed, then wrapped her arms around him. Jun held her. Trisha whispered against his chest. I love it. His arms tightened. The words came before either of them was ready. Not I love you. Not yet. But close enough to cast a shadow. Close enough that both felt it. Jun lowered his face against her hair. Trisha closed her eyes. Outside, Busan continued beneath them. Beautiful. Complicated. Unpredictable. But inside that apartment, something had become very simple. Two people who had spent weeks surviving everything around them had finally learned how to enjoy what was happening between them. The danger had not vanished. Minho still carried secrets. Someone inside Haesung had not yet been identified. Those problems would wait. Because tonight, Jun wasn't the most feared man in Busan. And Trisha wasn't the foreign student who had accidentally walked into his world. They were simply a man and a woman standing in a small apartment kitchen. Flowers on the counter. Dinner waiting. A tiny yellow umbrella hanging from Trisha's keys. And somewhere in the ridiculous, unexpected space between Jamaica and Korea, they were falling in love. Slowly. Stubbornly. Completely unaware of exactly how far it would take them. End of episode 5. When Busan felt like home,